That's just the way it rolls with us. Good morning to everyone on Women of Light and on Soul Friends. And this is Spiritual Bites with Elizabeth Eleanor, Nicolette Jane, and Asha Mackie.
Hello. It's so nice to be part of the tribe.
How is everyone? Should we do a PG version of what we were just talking about?
I'm a little bit low energy because I had a late night presenting in a French group last night, which was beautiful. And I presented for a beautiful lady who ran something she called Witch Week. In her French accent, it was Witch Week. So we had the closing ceremony last night and that finished at 1:30. So anyone who knows me knows I need my 8 hours sleep. So I'm a little, sleep deprived. But excited to pull some cards and shift my energy.
Let's see what comes up. And I had 3 days of having to change my thoughts and to choose differently. So I want to just say as a side note that spirituality and choosing the higher path of a high vibration is a choice and is a practice. It's not something that happens just out of the blue. It's something that you often have to work with because we go back into default. Our default is our egoic tendencies and woundings from our childhood and from society and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. And so if that takes over, then we need to make the choice to change it. So that's what I've been doing, making the choice. So let's see what cards have been pulled or which card's going to come.
I've pulled 2 cards. And they're both
appropriate.
Same vein. Oh, Asha, you didn't tell us what's been happening in your world.
Look, I think overall, like the collective energy that I'm feeling is that we are all riding the waves. We've had some unfortunate family kind of things going on recently. So my husband has quite a bad back and has been immobile with that for the last little bit. So that kind of really, reached a bit of an apex late in the week and over the weekend. So just kind of managing that. And then we also had my husband's grandfather pass away during the week as well. So yeah, we're just riding the waves, and like you ladies are pointing out that everything is a choice in how we respond. So yeah, it just seems to be a little bit of a shared collective, just riding through it at the moment, allowing things to happen. Oh no, what did you pull? Okay.
So I don't want to cut you off. Are you finished?
Yeah.
Sounds like there's a lot going on in your life, and these cards are great for me, and I feel going to be great for both of you and the collective. So the first card that I pulled is Little by Little, Have Patience. And the second card is Learn to Fly Slow and Steady. So
perfect.
I'll read both of them and then we can have a chat. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Little by little, sorting it out, step by step, we push through the doubt. Keep moving forward, keep constant the pace, steady the breathing to stay in the race. If we look down and stare at our shoes, the momentum is lost and we're destined to lose. We can't explain it, this feeling inside, determined to go on when we feel we could hide. We know all will be well if we think that way. Look past the gloom and feel the sun's rays. Little by little, the warmth incubates. It brings accomplishments only patience creates.
Oh, that's so perfect. Especially that's the whole thing about choice, right? And so I've been personally, what we were talking about before we got on was, the last 3 days. Obviously it's something in the stars. Maybe there's an energetic shift. There's something going on if we're all feeling it. And I know I've had some people reach out to me that were feeling it also. And just, even if you can't get yourself back to, the highest vibration, just to remember to make a choice, make a choice. I make choices every morning. And the last couple of days have been a little bit challenging making those choices, but it's also shifted me out of doom and gloom and out of despair, and where the egoic wounding or the identity wants to go into the rabbit hole of everything, right? So it's having to be patient, like you were saying in that poem, and make choices to this is our opportunity to step up, and we've got to make the decision to do that. No one's going to do it for us, and it's us that we're affecting and everyone else, but it's us first, and we need to remember that it's us that's feeling this. So that
I've been feeling, and if you don't mind, I'll just share my thoughts and then the next card, because it's all in the same vein. I've been feeling very much a calling to get back to enjoying the little things, and getting back to a solid routine. And I'm a bit scatterbrained at the best of times, so my routine doesn't really stay that way for very long, because I like new fresh energy all the time, so I'm always changing it up. So I'm really being called to come back to exercising every day, eating well every day, practicing gratitude every day, not necessarily in the same order, but I've been called to come back to that, and it's that little by little, incrementally, the changes that we make every day compound over time. And with Halloween happening, that was a topic we spoke on last night, and the original Gaelic celebration of the end of harvest and that cycle being finished. It feels like the 31st of October is this opportunity to see the end of a cycle and the start of a new one, and that can be a bit scary, which leads to the next card, learn to fly slow and steady. So there's some birds on there. The newness should be exciting, but to me right now it's so frightening. I feel disoriented, like a helicopter spinning out of control. Where there used to be a landing pad, now there is just ocean to the horizon. Soaring up into the sky, I begin to catch my breath, but still there's nowhere to rest. I'm so exhausted fighting the fight within myself and the resistance, the turmoil. Where is the peace? I want the peace back. I want the landing pad. Sorry. It's gone forever, sunk to the bottom of the ocean. And so now I keep on flying higher into the sky. Maybe if I learned to fly slow and steady, keep the pace within me, keep the pace with the changes happening within me, I wouldn't need to land anywhere anymore.
I know that Asha hasn't spoken yet. I just want to say one of the things that I love about this opportunity, this Spiritual Bites, is that we're all so real. Mm-hmm. And this is most probably the rawest we've been on here, because this is the rawest we've been showing up. Yes. So there is no pretend. There is no, let's play happy faces and smile and pretend it's all okay, because today we're all feeling a bit crappy. So I just wanted to point that out. Thank you, Nicolette. That was beautiful.
So beautiful, so beautiful. And look, I've just been kind of jotting down a couple of my thoughts because, we cover such rich terrain in what we do together that, that sometimes there's just multiple points that come up and that, I think can help hold everyone in this space as well, because I find that when we're feeling a little bit lost or disoriented, the first thing that I like to do is kind of go, okay, what's the terrain we're in? And, the analogy that's coming through for me is just that there's kind of this big storm that's hit, and for people in the spiritual community, they're probably familiar with this term, the tower moment, which is where everything kind of falls and crumbles away. And often that's what change symbolizes, Elizabeth, it sounds like you're experiencing change. I know we've just experienced change. Nicolette, you're experiencing change. And I think it's holding space for the fact that in change, there's a big part of us that wants to cling to that old and familiar and go, okay, like where's my solid ground, And then when we turn around and it's not there, it takes a while for everything to recalibrate and for us to find our new focus. But that's and hence the rising above. And that little by little, it's allowing that to emerge in knowing that we're actually okay with the old now being removed or gone or changed. And so I guess the biggest thing that's coming through for me at the moment, well, two things actually, is when we think about what drives us, there's often two things. We've got the reward that kind of is exciting and that we lean into and we want to follow, but then there's also deep pain and deep suffering. And that is the south point that actually serves to redirect us and tell us what's important. So for all of us, when I think about, well, at least for us and what's been going on, it's that old adage, you never miss the water until the well runs dry. So with my husband being, unwell at the moment, it reprioritizes, okay, we need to do those things daily, those little by little, to maintain our physical peak condition. And, we need to, in terms of the loss that we've just experienced, honoring family connection is really important. So I find that those biggest senses of loss simply serve to reinforce where we need to focus and what's next. And then the other thing that just came up for me, which I think is really important to acknowledge here as well, is that when we have these massive emotions kind of come through in this wave of change, the mind likes to tell us that, one, it's going to last forever, and so then the suffering compounds, and that two, if we've experienced this before and it's been a really hard time, one of the biggest mind tricks is that now I'm back here. And that's just not the case. Where and Elizabeth, something that you say often is, I'm brand new. And I think honoring that I am new and this isn't the same, it can feel the same, but I am not the same and it's not the same, that really helps in keeping our trajectory forward. So that was some of the things that came through for me.
Yeah. And the personality does that, doesn't it? The little part of us that limits us has to hold on to, oh, this is a pattern I remember. I'm going to match this and this together. And now, yes. Oh, my gosh, I'm going to go down the rabbit hole into despair and sorrow and victimhood. I'm going to be this, and this because they connect. And, the neural pathways all fire together and bang, 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 bang. Next thing, you're sitting, you're laying in bed eating chocolate or something.
Exactly. That's right. This is how I cope. Yeah.
What's really cool, because it's once you understand that, right, is once you understand and you know, as I said, 3 days, you know, so a personal choice that I have made in my life is limiting me to socialize at the moment, right? And so, you know, through that process, I've been okay with it until I went to do something in the shops, and it was like, oh, that's right, I can't do that. And so because I was already in a place of feeling a little bit, you know, like I think I was, you know, the energies were a little bit, you know, magnified. Obviously there's something going on in the planet at the moment, and I would say hearing what Nicolette said about you know, the change in the solstice as well. Is that a solstice?
Yeah, so
I think it's a solstice, isn't it? So there's a change in the vibration. I mean, today is 11, you know, 1:11. So that's 3 ones. There's this new dynamic, right? There's this new process happening today. And what's really cool is that the more you stay focused on the awareness that limited part of you will do that, and go, okay, I'm recognizing this feeling from previously. I'm recognizing it, and I'm not going to allow it to be a big thing, or you know, I'm feeling it. I'm acknowledging it. It's all good. I'm feeding the part of my body that wants to feel sad about that. And then I'm not going to let my brain go, woe is me, and this will never change, as you were saying, Asha. And so I watched myself. We've just done 7 days of self-nurturing on Women of Light with Helen. And it was such a beautiful, beautiful journey, such a beautiful process for all of it, and so needed, you know, the nourishment us women need to be able to support ourselves and you know, nourish our bodies, our spirit, and our you know, our mind. It was such a good and a deep process that even that gave me tools to so I didn't go and lay in bed and eat chocolate. I didn't feel like it because I fed myself good food, which fed myself, you know, and I moved my body the way I needed to, and I let that energy out. So I chose to go this way, to, you know that this is just the way it is at the moment, but this is because of the choices that I made.
I find when I, you know, you were saying about the 7 days of self-nurturing, it's really helpful to be doing those little by little things with other people. But also what I find helpful is doing the same, like I know that people like different types of exercise, but for me, if I'm going to go into something new, like exercising every day, which is new for me at the moment because I haven't done it for a while, I like to do the same thing. So I feel like I'm achieving something each day when I'm getting better at it. So at the moment, I'm climbing Tabletop Mountain quite a bit. And my daughter's just come back from a month-long camp where she was very active, and she's so fit. And she's like, righto, Mum, let's do it every day. And I'm like, I don't know about every day, but anyway. But that I've done it 3 times now, and done tabletop 3 times now in the past 5 days, and just the feeling of getting more confident on the rocks and not being as puffed and being able to get up there quicker. It's like, yeah, I've got this, you know, that repetitive nature of little by little is there's and Asha would be able to expand on the psychological reason behind that.
Well, it's really just a big part of what we need is progress, you know. And I think when everything is tumultuous, it can be really hard to feel like we're getting somewhere. And then when you've got the mind tricks of, oh no, I'm back here again, or, you know, feeling because actually the feeling that's coming through Nicolette, and correct me if I'm wrong, is I almost get like a sense of snakes and ladders, climbing up, and then oh no, I've come back down the snake, right? And then it kind of feels like we're in a bit of a loop. But what was also coming through to me then, and for the three of us, is that all the time, it's okay if we get knocked off course and we're destabilized, because it's in that destabilization that the fresh energy can come through. And then starting to put things back in our control, that little by little, and exercise is such a beautiful one, because it's something that it's something tangible that we can see and feel, and it activates so much. And then redirecting our focus. But I think overall what's coming through for me is that it's okay to feel destabilized, and when it perhaps feels like we're coming down a snake, we're not actually back to where we were, because every cycle we learn, and rather than it being like this, we're actually doing this. And so those moments where it feels like we've come down, it's actually just a reintegration phase where we go, okay, that's right, and I regain and I propel myself forward for the next chapter. So I think the more that we hold space for it all and go actually being destabilized, which is, just kind of how I call being kind of knocked off center a little bit, there's actually beauty and wonder in that as well, because it means that we're learning. And I think one of the traps that I think I at least fall into is that sense that, no, I've kind of always, like, I've got to know the outcome. And you don't, because as soon as you know the outcomes, you're just on repeat. So being destabilized and knocked off center and not knowing, that's also a big cue to go, no, I'm absolutely on track for my next learning.
And on top of that, just as you were saying that, it's one of the tricks, isn't it, of the of the mind that says, you're back to square one, you did all that progress and now you're back to square one, and it's one of those tricks that the mind plays on us.
Yes.
And it's actually not true.
And that's exactly why I got emotional when I was reading that poem, because I'm exhausted fighting the fight within myself. It's that, I'm back here again. Are we serious? Like,
I could feel it. I was like, snakes and ladders, but no, it's not. It's actually a different game. Because we can never actually be back to where we were, because again, we are brand new. We're brand new all the time, and recognizing. So I was working with a lady recently who has had a really tough time with giving birth, and she was going through her next wave of big emotions, and it was catching it straight away that you're not back to where you thought you are. Because the speed at which we're able to redirect our attention, get back on course, do our healing work, and be start moving in our desired direction. There's no way you can do that the very first time you encounter a big wave.
You've got all that back knowledge, right? You've got a new perspective. That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So honoring the fact that, no, this is me now, and yes, I'm riding a current wave, but I've actually become really bloody good at riding waves over the course of however long I've been playing this particular game. So.
Yeah, so true. So great conversation. We had a few. We got so deep in that we didn't even ask anyone if. We've got a few people with love hearts and stuff like that in here, which is lovely. And has anyone got anything particular coming up? I don't think I have. that I know
No, I'm just in the process of building, keeping on building my website, and I'm very excited to have some prints arriving this week of my artwork, which is the first that I'll see. So I'll be able to actually show what you can order off my website in the print line. And yeah, that's me.
Beautiful. Yeah, I've been asked to speak for Zonta, which is a group, group here in Toowoomba. So that's coming up Thursday night, and just to talk a little bit about resilience and, you know, how we can actually develop our mindset to move through these times, because they're such big adjustment times for everyone that I think these conversations are perfect, because there's actually not, I would argue, you know, and I'm happy to be proven wrong, but I would argue there's not a person alive at the moment that hasn't been impacted by some degree and finding kind of some discomfort in navigating the new. So I think, you know, it's very typical that what's going on in our lives, in our kind of more microcosm, is also happening across the board at that macro level. So so it'll be so it'll be great to connect with that audience as well, and share some of these, you know, these gems that you know we practice and make the choice to practice, and bringing it back to that choice piece, and and that, you know, who we are now is different to pre-corona. You know, and actually honoring that and the learning that we've already encountered, and all of that sort of thing. So I've got that coming up, and and I guess I'm just looking at rolling out Diamond Mind next year online for individuals as well, because I've been doing it a lot in corporate settings and at an individual level, but not as a community or a group. So looking at how all that will be rolled out and come together for to do next year. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Sounds good.
What about you?
What am I? I've got the end, the tweaking of the end of my branding happening.
That's so exciting.
Which is a website. It's actually not a website. It's actually just like an offer for Conscious Creator. And it's looking really good. I just, you know, going backwards and forwards with the lady that's doing the branding. So that looks really nice, and will be coming out very shortly. So then I've got something to show people and say, you know, well, this is the methodology, and this is where it's all at, and let's consciously create our reality, and start making some change in the world, which is what we're all about, right? So
yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
So take care, everyone. Lovely to we've had some people here saying blessing to you. Love, M. I don't know who M is, but thank you, M. Has put here blessing to you, women. And we've had a few people put some comments on here. Yes, I love the reel too. Thank you. Yeah, I just love that we're just here having conversation, right? So I love that we can share this with everyone and be able to, you know, where it doesn't matter where you're at in life, your stuff happens, right? It's just the way it is. Yeah. We're all here having an individual experience of ourselves going through the same thing.
Yeah.
And we can make the choice to how we're gonna respond to that. So take care, everyone. Enjoy your week, and we'll catch up soon.
Bye.
Bye.